I would say it was an honor and privilege for me to have been associated with this gallant fighter of the South African Revolution. General Sphiwe Nyanda, immediately after receiving Solomon Mahlangu and his two colleagues, handed them over to me to prepare them politically for the task that they were supposed to do inside the country. Militarily, they were already trained. So the 2 weeks, every day for the whole day, after exercises and breakfast, I had to be with them, going throughout all the experiences of our struggle thus far, with a view of contextualizing and making sure that they have a clear grasp of what is to be done. It was an honor and privilege, especially with hindsight. When you look at Solomon Mahlangu at the time, you were just seeing an ordinary cadre of the African National Congress. During our discussions, our debate, our political discussion, throughout the 2 weeks, Solomon Mahlangu was just a very disciplined, good listener. We used to go through freedom struggles of the past with a view of contextualizing our struggle and to try and learn from the past as to how, not only in South Africa, but other countries, how did they use to mobilize both their soldiers and their people to forge ahead. Now, it was within this context that, among other things, I referred them to what Manzini said during the liberation of Italy in terms of European history that we were taught, though even under Bantu education. When Manzini said to his troops, as a commander, as a general, that the tree of liberty grows stronger when watered with the blood of the martyr, and the dagger of the assassin grows more deadly when sharpened on the tombstone of the martyr. Solomon Mahlangu liked this thing. He even requested me to repeat it. Now, when he was hanged, this message that he left for the entire South African people, that he loves us all and that we must continue with the struggle, to this day, I started seeing Solomon Mahlangu much more differently than I have experiencing. I did not know that this cadre of Umkhonto Wesizwe is a royal and I'm a commoner. I was leading my leadership, and he has never even shown that he's from the royal blood. He was disciplined, committed, and dedicated. Now, royals, traditionally, in the history of black people, they are born leaders. I think Solomon Mahlangu represented, first and foremost, the royal, his family, and the royal family he belonged to. He demonstrated what leadership is. He demonstrated what volunteerism means. At that time, one thought he was dealing with an ordinary cadre of the ANC, but at the end. And one can add that the African National Congress talk about a selfless struggle that the people of South Africa undertook for this freedom that we enjoy today. And it is through the sacrifices of volunteers like Solomon Mahlangu that the traditions, beliefs, commitment and dedication of Umkhonto weSizwe are reflected. Not only Umkhonto weSizwe, but all the people who raised their hands and participated practically for this liberation to be where it is. Generally, people are shocked about the general political consciousness of the overwhelming majority of South Africans in terms of them, their regard of the ANC. But it is people like Lemini, Solomon Mahlangu, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who embodied this image of the African National Congress, who implanted in the minds of South Africans this image of the African National Congress, to an extent that the people of South Africa know what the ANC is capable of. They are not second-guessing it. Once the ANC try to deviate and do things that are not a true reflection of these traditions and history and legacy of the African National Congress, the people of South Africa know it, and they respond accordingly. So it is for the African National Congress to continuously remind every person who regards himself as a member of this organization, not only to talk about the traditions of this organization, but to be seen to be living them. And that we should know that the people of this country know the ANC. Any other thing that calls itself ANC but is not doing that which they know, they are going to reject it outright. Solomon Mahlangu is a hero of the South African Revolution.
I just wanted to check as well, if you can just share with us, what would your message be to young people today?
I think the young people, as the Deputy President said, should visit this place regularly. One would even suggest that it will be appropriate. The visit to this place must be part and parcel of the school curriculum. From primary, secondary, to contextualize the history. When you are here, when you go to the gallows, it's more than the stories that you are told. When you practically see, for this South Africa to be where it is, what the youth did. Very young, but their contribution, their sacrifice was like that of the most senior people in terms of age. Commitment, dedication, discipline, clarity of what is it that has to be done to make this country what it is. So indeed, like the Deputy President said, like I say, one would even recommend and pray that visit to the gallows should be a must for all our youth. By the time they complete their grade 12, they should have been here at least twice and been taken through as to what was happening when a person was condemned to death.
All right,